Sports Nation live in the studio.
Get out of the shop, man.
And with that, we welcome all of you back and David Nixon into frame.
David, out here
and on to the show.
Hey, we're on a TV show here. This isn't
coming back, I was just hanging out down here. I was like, I probably should sit up a little bit. Next thing I know, my head's halfway in the shot. So that was good.
We never replay on BYUSN, but we actually have something to replay.
Are we back from commercial break yet?
Oh, we're back? Oh, cool. Yeah.
David, welcome to the show. Hey, and I know you're excited. You're moving your body and getting amped up because you got a lot to talk about. It's a big day for you today. It's based a lot in frustration, but we did see BYU football play better against ECU than certainly they had in previous weeks. And our first question is kind of centered on that. Did BYU's defense do enough to win the game against ECU?
No, they didn't. And here's the thing. I think
we disagree.
I think on both sides of the ball, nobody's doing enough right now to win games, obviously, right?
Yeah,
BYU's losing. And so I think that you're at the point of the season where you can't rely on the other side to go out there and win you games. Like defense, you have to go in the game into the mindset of we have to shut this team out. We're on a 3-game, now 4-game losing streak. We have got to find a way to win this game 20-0 or 7-0.
I get that mindset, but it's not realistic.
I mean, it's realistic in the sense that you can limit to 10 points. I mean, I'm just saying you've got to have the mindset. You've got to. Yeah, I don't see why it's not.
24 was fair to me, David.
When you go back and watch this film, which I have, and you watch the guys, we had dudes in the right spots. We had the right schemes dialed up. And there were lots of plays where guys actually did a great job of balling up ECU's running back. I mean, but there were also a lot of plays where literally 1 or 2 guys are just like 2 feet too far inside and get blocked, and the running back's out the gates. And that's the problem right now with this team is you have 10, sometimes 9 guys doing their jobs, and you have 2 that are in their completely wrong gaps. And good teams exploit that. And they find that gap and they gash you. And that's what happened time and time again against ECU. Backers falling too far inside, and boom, the running back out the gates, right? And we knew going into this game that the running back for ECU loved to bounce it. That was like his whole thing. He loved it.
Keaton Mitchell.
Keaton Mitchell, he didn't like to go up in the middle. He would initially start up the middle, but every single time he liked to bounce it. And so BYU, there were a couple of times where BYU's backers and safeties come folding inside to a place where that's not your job. That's not your job to fold inside because you have to be out there for the bounce. And sure enough, he bounced it, and they folded inside too much, and he gashed him. And that's the frustrating part. You watch, you're like, man, this team is so close. And I think that's the hope I have for them going to Boise State and hopefully finish out the season is they're so close to being able to play good football. But right now, it's not good football. And I know they're watching film and realizing that, and week in and week out, they're being reminded of that. But you got to fix it. I mean, this isn't basketball where you have 30 games to fix it, right? This is week by week. You have 12, and this season it might only be 12. It might not be 13, and so you got to fix it.
It's tough, and I felt like the offense probably had one more score in them that didn't happen. Maybe that was at the beginning of the fourth when they passed up a 29-yard field goal to 12, didn't get the first. But after the last 3 weeks, I felt like, listen, 24 points until that last field goal. That felt like it was good enough. But everybody's got to play better. Ryan Rico blasted a 71-yard punt down to the 1. Like, that was enough, right? Jake Oldroyd made his field goal. That was enough. So this week against Boise State, great defense from the Broncos. They haven't played the toughest schedule in the world, but they're not giving up a lot of points, yards, third downs, 28%. Like, do you feel like the BYU offense can get some yards perhaps on the ground? Can Lopini Katoa have a similar game to open things up, and maybe BYU's got a chance here?
I say yes because we've seen, glimpses of brilliance from this offense too this year. Where, I mean, USF, they go out there and they dominate. Everything they were doing worked well, right? And the whole team was on the same page. And so I think this whole team, when they put the whole game together, which we haven't seen for a really long time, we haven't seen the offense, the defense, and special teams all click together.
What was the whole? Have we had a whole game? Because USF was the first. USF was the first quarter. I would argue.
And saying, let's qualify that. USF is the worst team that BYU's played all year. They're worse than Utah State and Wyoming.
They're bad.
So there's something to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. And so to your point, I don't know if they have played a complete game. I mean, you look at USF because of the score and how they routed them. But even against Utah State, Wyoming, even though BYU won those games, I think everybody left those games feeling a little uneasy about the way that both teams dominated BYU in time possession. moved the ball, converted on third downs on defense.
Ran the ball specifically.
Offensively, BYU struggled in certain spurts, and they weren't super clean. And so it's just been a weird season. We know they have the talent, and we've seen it on display in years past. And we've seen parts of this season where the offense goes out a 92-yard drive and punches in for a touchdown, right? It's like
longest drive of the season on Friday.
Exactly. Last week, we know BYU has this in the bag. We just need some consistency from this team. And same thing with defense. You go back and watch the film, it's like, wow, BYU gets a couple 3-and-outs. They do a great job getting the backfield, a great surge and push, and they stuff ECU's running game. But then the next possession, they come out, and a guy folds inside, and they gash it for 20, 30 yards. A DB gets his eyes, dirty eyes, gets his eyes in the backfield, and boom, a 40, 50-yard pass, right? And so it's like, it's just too much up and down right now, and I think that's what this team is struggling with, and they're frustrated with is lack of consistency. And when that starts to happen as a team, specifically as a defense, you lose confidence because you're thinking, okay, when you walk out on the field, is this the team that's going to get a 3-and-out? This defense is going to get a 3-and-out? Or are we going to get gashed for 75, 80, 90 yards, right? You just don't know what team you're getting. And we think of that as fans, but you also think that as players. And it's a dangerous thought because when that creeps in your mind, once again, then you start playing outside yourself and trying to do too much. And in return, you actually hurt the defense as a whole.
Which side of the ball needs to play better against Boise State, or I should say with more urgency? Like which is carrying more of the weight this week as BYU goes up to the Blue in Boise?
Listen, I tend to harp on the defense because I'm a defensive guy, and I can see the glaring mistakes that are going on there. But offensively, you've got the weapons, and I'd love to see this offense. 24 points, as you mentioned, felt like it should be enough, but in this day and age, you got to put up more points.
Get 30 at home.
Yeah, it's just how the game is, right? That's how the game's played. And we've talked about this on AFR and elsewhere. Look at what's happened in the SEC. You've got 55 to 52, shootouts going on. Big 12, right? This is the future of BYU football going to the Big 12. You're going to have to be involved in some shootouts. And so offense, you need to get ready for what's to come, and you've got to put up more points, no question. But at the same time, defensively, we've seen games where the opposing team, just drags on with the clock, and the defense can't get off the field to get the ball back to Jaron in the offense, right? And so, 100%, it's both sides. There's no glaring, hey, it's this season is this side's fault, right? I mean, you go game by game, and it's usually one of either the unit of offense or defense is struggling, and you can point your finger at them, and that's where once again BYU's got to have a complete game, and this is the week to do it. You're going up to Boise. I mean, let me back up. There's not much to play left. There's not much more to play for this season, let's be honest, right? All your goals are out the door. There's no way, even if you win out from here, you're getting the top 25, I don't think it's,
no way.
No, you're trying to salvage something positive.
Get to a bowl game.
So you want to get to a bowl game and beat your rivals, right? Beat your rival, and that's what Boise State is this week. And, of course, Stanford, the last game of the year, beat a P5 school. That's another check mark, right? But this week is beat your rival. Who knows when BYU will play them again?
Maybe never.
Maybe never. And so this is an opportunity to go up to the Smurf turf, beat them on their home turf.
They love it when you call it that, so well done.
Believe me, I did that for a reason. and beat them on their home field, and that's kind of it's a little victory, right?
Yeah.
A moral victory.
It'd be a big victory.
Yeah, it could be a big victory. It's something you can take. This team that struggles so much this year, this would be huge for their confidence and something they can hang their hat on. And then, once again, the whole hope now with what's gone on is you're trying to take some momentum into Big 12.
Yes,
that's all that you're focused on right now is trying to take the momentum in.
Yep.
All right, after further review, much more to come tonight.
7 Eastern on the BYUtv app. Check it out. David saved his best opinions for that show later. If you thought that was good, just wait tonight on the BYUtv app, 7 Eastern.
And you know what?